All right, we're going on Facebook and YouTube. Hey, everybody, happy Wednesday. We are getting ready to record our Trip Report show with Tanya here. So come on over and join us and hang out with us. Hello to everybody on Instagram. Just got that going too. So we will start here in just 1 second. Let's get that going. Post that. It's like mission control here. You got to hit 100 buttons to get this thing going nowadays. Back in 2008, we pushed one button because we never recorded live. It was a phone call. It was Skype.
Wow.
Okay. I think we're good. See, so next Monday, no special holidays or anything when this show comes out. Huh. Nope. Think we're good. So this will be 2552. Close Discord because that'll start chirping. Close Facebook so we don't have the stream going. All right. Let's do this. We'll try to go for about 40 or 45 minutes ish. Always ish and always have it. All right. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2552 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a great weekend and, a lot of football was to be watched. The NFL's back. College football is in week 2 there, full week 2. So if you're a football fan, you probably stayed on the couch, but hope you got outside and enjoyed what is churning into some nice fall weather here in the Midwest. We had a little cool snap, little preview of what's coming here soon. So hope you take the Be Our Guest podcast with you wherever you go. We're very transportable right there on your phone. If you want to go out for that early morning walk or jog, we encourage that. Get off the couch, get active, take us with you, take the dog. Riley likes her walks. Take your pooch. And get out there, see the neighbors, say hello, and just make it a great fall season. We just want you to stay active and have a good time. And we always want to be your partner as you're out and about here in the fall. But today, speaking of active, we have a great trip report for you. It kind of ties into today's show. So we're actually going back to back today with Orange County, California guests. We're headed out near Disneyland. Not that I'm jealous that both of these guests could have had Rancho del Zocalo at any time. My favorite place in the world. We're speaking with Tanya out in California. Tanya, how you doing today? Thanks for coming on.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Mike.
I am so glad to have you on the show. Thanks for taking the time. So how are things out in California here as we transition from summer into fall?
They're hot. I live by the beach and it's 86, which is too hot for a half a mile from the beach. But other than that, pretty good. Pumpkin spice is out. Have not partaken yet.
See, I'm not a coffee drinker. I've never had coffee in my life. And when this time of year, when everything goes pumpkin, I don't like pumpkin pie. I don't like pumpkin anything. So it just takes over the internet for me. But I don't imbibe in the pumpkin stuff. So it's kind of a strange thing for me. I don't
either. But it's like a signal, right? It's a turning of the season, whether you like it or not.
It is. I'm trying to think like when the fall comes around, like what that. I'm pretty much like just a person who does the same thing over and over and over because I work from home and I'm just a creature of habit, right? So yeah, I'd like to see the leaves change. And I mean, it's different like in the Midwest compared to where you live by the beach, but we get to actually see the signals and stuff like that. But yeah, I see the memes and everything on social media, but yeah, I see everybody with their cups and especially like, when Christmas comes around, everybody have the Christmas cups from Starbucks and all that, which is their mind, right? With they're the red cups or whatever. Yeah. I see all that, but it doesn't mean a whole lot. I guess I miss out. My life's kind of boring, but I mean, so are you a native Californian? Have you lived out there your whole life?
So I was born in Orange County. I made the mistake of going to the East Coast for school, thinking I could handle the cold. So I lived in Boston for 3.5 years, got my degree and ran back home. Quickly realized not for me, but have that experience put in my pocket. But yeah, I've lived in like 20, 30 minutes away from Disneyland my whole life, never had a pass. Um, just went once a year, typically played hooky, in elementary school. My mom was a teacher, but she'd take me out of school so we can go on a non-crowded day that wasn't the summer.
Teacher teachers' kids, it happens.
Yep.
That's, with the best of them. But teachers' kids catch you up. It's not big. They know. They can
Yeah.
you're living with a teacher under the house. You're
Mhm.
never gonna fall behind with a teacher as a parent. It's not gonna happen.
It
So
turned out all right.
but if you live there, that's very interesting though, because I wonder I was gonna ask you about that, growing up there kind of in the shadow of Disneyland, where I would imagine a lot of your friends growing up probably went to Disneyland, I guess, more than you did. And it's something that wasn't as prevalent as I would guess since you're coming on the show today. I mean, when did you kind of develop your love for Disney where it became more important?
I mean, I it's always been important. I just like financially was like, the pass. And I also thought like it would ruin it, if you're used to going so often. So like once a year, I got my moment and it was super, super exciting. And then I went to school on the East Coast and I started going more despite the fact that I didn't live here. Just because I missed it so much and it gave you like a day of joy. But honestly, I think I was a Disney fan. My mom told me a story. I think I was like 3 and I wanted like a Cinderella quilt or something. And she's like, "No, she had to wait for a man. Like, why don't you get Pocahontas? She like did something." So it was ingrained early on. So yeah, I just love the movies and I like going to the parks when I can. I never had the ears. I'm not like that big, but I just enjoy the joy of Disney. So yeah.
So before we transition into this trip we're going to talk about here today, Disneyland itself, though, what do you think is your favorite thing as far as the West Coast, Disneyland itself, like something that is specific to Disneyland? Because we got the Lizards are running out there this past weekend. Shout out to everybody who did the Halloween races out there and kicked off this news. I can't believe the next season of Run Disney has already started, and we've had the first weekend come and go. Show off that bling over in the clubhouse. We want to see the pictures. But what do you like best out of Disneyland since you kind of grow up out there? What's your favorite?
Well, I always before I ever went to Disney World, I always thought Disneyland was the best because you have to compare apples to apples, right? So if you compare our park, Disneyland, to the Magic Kingdom, it's way bigger. It has more stuff. I like that it's just a bigger park. You can literally spend a day there, and we have the Matterhorn, and you guys don't. So,
I love the
yeah,
Matterhorn. The Matterhorn is such a cool attraction. It's painful, but it's a cool attraction.
yeah, yeah. It
It's not.
goes faster at night. Unproven, but we all know it's true.
I think that's true of Big Thunder at Magic Kingdom too.
Yes, that too.
True. Yeah, it's unscientific, but absolutely true, 100%. Yeah, you're right. I couldn't be more true. And you got the subs. Subs are awesome. I was a little claustrophobic the first time I went there. I'm not gonna lie.
Nemo? We have Nemo now.
Well, the Nebo subs. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I know they're not the OG subs, but I mean, you get to get in them and go down, and it's a sub. So I call them
True,
subs.
true that. Yeah, and then also I used to work for the government and way back when when someone new was elected, they did a government tour of Disney. So I've been backstage, I've been in Walt's apartment. I got to push the big red button when they test the fireworks during the day.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
it happened to be my birthday that day, so I was just that was a fun little like sneak peek. And now I know like how prepared they are as far as like emergency evacuations and all that fun stuff.
When you kind of just buried the lead, there's like an actual big red button to take
There's
stuff
there
back. There's
yeah,
actually a button.
there's a big like trailer bunker type thing, and he's like, "Who's the birthday girl?" And I walked in, and there's this huge like board and a big red button and about 30 different pipes outside, and they just spray like water vapor when they test it, but it almost looks like organ pipes, like the way they
Nice. I
yeah.
love that. Oh my gosh, this is why I love doing this podcast every week on Mondays when we have a guest on. I learn something new, and there's so many layers to Disney, the parks, and just the resorts and hotels, and just traveling there. I just love telling everybody stories. I'm so glad you could share that. Okay, look,
Yeah.
let's talk about your trip you took down to Walt Disney World, though. So
Mhm.
let's hop into this. You were down there you had a reason why you went from the
Yeah.
West Coast down to Florida. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I am a runner and a big fan of the sport, particularly of marathoning. And they were holding the US Olympic marathon trials to determine who would go to the Olympics in the marathon in Orlando. And when I heard that, I'm like, you know what? I'm going. I want to watch. I kick myself for not going when they held it in Atlanta 4 years ago. So I just thought, you know what? I'm gonna make a Disney World trip because I'd never really been. I went once in college, but we got to go into the park for 4 hours. So it wasn't like an adult, let's commit trip. So I was like, all right, let's just, make a trip about it. And we did all four parks and fit the marathon kind of like in the middle of the trip.
Cool. So obviously that was kind of the focus of the trip. The goal was to see the marathon trials. Let's talk about that kind of off the top and then get into the Disney stuff. What was that like experiencing something like that? Because I would imagine like getting tickets to an event like that and
No tickets.
is it different? There's no tickets. You just showed up.
No, that's the beauty of the marathon because it's on the road. It
That's
was
so
in
big.
downtown Orlando. So we had to, Uber there. It took like 30, 40 minutes, but you just line up on the side of the road and cheer the people on. Obviously there's a ton of security and, stuff like that. We couldn't like cross the street, which was annoying. But yeah, no tickets. You just go and spectate. And gosh, Alapine and Tuliamuk, who won the last trials, dropped right in front of me, and I was like, "Whoa!" So I got to see like all the runners that I follow, and it was a great turnout, tons of crowds. Des Linden ran right by me, and I was like a little starstruck. So it was super fun, and then a lot of brands were doing like group runs a few days leading up to it. So I did like a Hoka run, got to try on the super shoes, and it was totally worth flying across the country for.
Hey, I'm a fan of Hoka. I've burned through
Yeah.
about 10 pair of Hokas in my time. And I put a lot of miles on. They'd say, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you should put this many miles on your shoes." I do times 10 because I put
Oh my
I
god.
run so much. But yeah, they look like moon boots, but I don't care. They work. I'm a fan of Hoka.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool though that you got to, combine a passion with Walt Disney World Vacations. And I think there's an opportunity for a lot of folks to do that because Orlando being such a, city, they have a lot of conventions. So I know a lot of folks have, professional development in their field, teachers, folks that work in other industries. A lot of times conventions are held, maybe not always at Walt Disney World, but possibly at the Orlando Convention Center or something like that. And I think it's a great opportunity to take, a passion or a sport. Like I know, Mallory cheers. And so a lot of times cheerleading competitions were down there. A lot of times soccer tournaments are held there. And
Yeah,
it's really cool because you get to do a passion and then turn it into a Walt Disney World vacation. And it's like cherry on top of the cake there.
I can tell you the cheerleaders were at Coronado when we were there. There was some competition going on in late January, early February, but they were practicing in the parking lot and
Yep. That was
everywhere.
actually I think those were the dancers.
Oh,
I think, yeah,
ah,
which is slightly maybe it could have been true though.
there's some
You
pom
know, I feel
poms.
okay, yep. Well, the dancers do use palms sometimes, but
Okay,
it could have been true. Just depends
yeah.
what level. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But either way, probably lots of bows. Because Coronados would usually use more for the dancers, but it could be cheer too. Okay, so let's talk. This is the world I live in.
Yeah, no.
I was listening to a cheer comp song on the way home from dinner tonight before we recorded
Oh
this
God.
podcast. That's how deep we're in, and we're deciding, oh my gosh, this upcoming competition season, are we 6A or 5A, and who's in our district for regionals? It's a thing. Anyway, so let's talk about your trip. So you went down and you stayed at Coronado Springs, like you
Yeah.
just mentioned. I love this hotel personally. It's at the very top of my list. How did it work out for you guys?
It was I did email you because when I realized I was going to Disney, and then I actually had a friend who decided she was going to have her bachelorette at Epcot 4 months prior, and I had to plan it. I'm like, "All right, I need to know my stuff." So that's why I started listening to the podcast just to get information. Because as like everyone on this podcast, I love to plan and I love a project and an Excel sheet with tabs. So you recommended Coronado, and we were in between a few, and you said go with that one. So I'm like, "All right, great." It was exceptional, and I went with my boyfriend who's not a Disney fan, was just going to appease me, and
We
I
talk
don't.
about that all the time on this show. Like the significant other many times is in that same boat, right? They just go because it's give and take kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm like, "It's, food and bars," and yeah, anyways, um so yeah, we didn't need something super themed, but I did want something like rather nice, also relatively affordable, and they had a really good deal with the hotel stays and the park tickets, so it was great. We loved the Dahlia Lounge to kind of kill some time in the afternoon before dinner. I ran around that lake so many times,
Mhm.
and what you were saying about conventions is I did not realize the Run America convention was happening. So first full morning there, I was just running at 6 in the morning, and I see Mickey. I'm like, "What the heck?" And I'm like, "There's a lot of people running around this lake." And then I go up to someone who happened to be, I think he was at the time the director of the NYC Marathon or NYC Roadrunners, one of them. And I'm like, "Do you know what's going on?" And he's like, "Yeah, this is like a Run Disney run. It's the shakeout run for the Run Disney or the Run America convention." So I was like, "Oh, cool." So I ran with people, and then I even got in line and they gave me a goodie bag. They didn't ask for my name or anything. So I have a Run Disney t-shirt and a little Run Disney like seat cushion blanket thing. And then that happened the next day. Goofy was out there and I got free race photos.
So you found your people by accident.
Yeah, it was so cool. It was honestly that was one of the highlights from the trip. It wasn't even in a park. It was just like, "Oh my god, that's so cool."
I
So, yeah.
love when stuff like that happens. It's so funny though, because I mean, as a runner, because I like I said, I stay at Coronado a ton, and I like to get out there and run. Coronado is a safe bet if you're a runner. Let me just tell you two reasons why. One, that loop around the resort is just, it's a beautiful run. There's not a lot, it's very flat. But if
Yeah.
you get, and I like to run like, but obviously before it gets hot in the morning, and I'll get up before dawn and run when it's
Mhm.
still dark, and there's enough light that you can run at dark, and it's totally fine. But right at sunrise, it's gorgeous, especially when you run back through the ranchos, back kind of where that
Mhm.
rock and the cactus section is. I just love that part of it. And then you got the water you run past. But also it's a safe bet because if you're like a super committed runner, there's two buildings that have treadmills just in case you got them in
I
the
was
tower has its own set of treadmills, and there's actually a second set over by the quiet pool in the casitas. I
we
mean,
were
think about
right
it just in
by
case.
there. Yeah, we were in the casita. So I used the gym, like, after the run a few times, but yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I mean, just for the hardcore people that are crazy like me, like if I don't get my run in mentally, I'm all like screwed up the rest of the day. So not everybody, I know 99% of the world isn't like me, and that's good because I am mentally messed up if I don't get
Mhm.
my day started the right way. So it's super cool. You got Goofy and Mickey and got a goodie bag, got a swag bag and
Yep.
met your people. That's great. All right, so let's talk about times in the park. So how did that go for you guys? How'd you guys schedule that and give us some highlights?
Yeah, sure. So, I probably thought about this way too much, but I was trying to schedule it. So I'm like, okay, well, the crowd meter says this is going to be crowded at this time, whatever. So we started the first day, I think it was like a Wednesday or Thursday at the Magic Kingdom. Overall, I thought like the park, well, so I had DAS. Fun story, I can run, but I can't stand for too long because my legs swell and it gets painful. But so I have DAS for it. Um, and so we just like cranked through every single park we were in. We got a lot of things done super, super fast. So honestly, in like retrospect, we could have just done a park hopper and like hit two parks in one day. That would have been easy. But yeah, so Magic Kingdom first day. We did what is it? The Seven Dwarves Mine Train?
Yep.
That was fun. That was super cool. Like, we did that twice. So that was a highlight, and then, Tron was also a huge highlight. We got in the front, and I was a little nervous, but, I wish we had that over here because that was such I don't even like I couldn't tell you the last time I saw Tron the movie, but the ride itself was amazing.
It's awesome.
Um we took a little, like, resort break. We went to Disney Springs so I can stock up on my Erin McKenna vegan baked goods over there, and then we did, like, little espressos at, the Enchanted Rose at the Grand Floridian, and that was lovely. Like, I wish we could spend more time there. Um, and best falafel the when I that night was when I realized that, like, Disney food was top notch because we went to Skipper's Canteen. We were, like, super late. I didn't even know if they'd serve us, and I as a vegan, I've had a lot of falafel in my life, and oh my god, this was amazing. So I was honestly, that was probably, like, one of our favorite park days, except for getting stuck on, the Carousel of Progress. Uh, my boyfriend wanted to go on it because we were killing time for a DAS thing, and he thought it was like the innovation center that we have at Disneyland.
Uh-huh.
So we get on and we're like, "Oh, this is not that." And they always say, like, "Stay in your seats until the show is completed," and the fireworks going on, and we were almost done, and people left, and they had to stop the ride and then reverse it. So we had to watch, like, 5 more minutes of the final scene, So we were watching the final scene for at least like 10, 15 minutes, and we're just like, oh my God, can we have this ride?
Is Christmas ever going to end? And is the turkey's going to get burned again?
It was so cringy.
Yeah.
But fun story to tell now.
You got to always have stuff like that. I mean, it
Yeah.
happens. Well, plus I see in your notes too. I didn't want to skip the first day, but you had a problem with mirrors getting over to the resort. It was
Yeah.
you could maybe
Yeah.
help folks that maybe they could not do this, or I don't know what this
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. We were going back and forth, and it seemed pretty seamless. But it was one of those situations where like you're standing in the lines because different lines go to different resorts, and you see the line one leave, and then you're like, okay, and then you see line three leave, and you see all these people who got there after you, like get on their bus and go. And then after about 40, 45 minutes, they told us there was an accident on the freeway, and the bus was caught in a jam or something. But yeah, it took, like, over an hour of not knowing when the bus would come, and just we were like, "We definitely could have Ubered." Like, we were fine time-wise, we still made it to our dinner reservations, but, I wouldn't recommend it, I would just Uber, I think it's a lot easier.
Yeah, personally, I mean, I go down a lot by myself for the races now, and I just take an
Mhm.
Uber or Lyft because one, you don't have to plan
Yeah,
anything in advance, right? You just show up, boom, hit the thing, and a car's there in like 10 minutes or
yeah,
less, and it's probably cheaper. But I do understand families that need car seats and stuff like that. That's probably a better bet, if you
mhm,
have that. I mean, it's something, if there's an accident on the highway, how often does that happen? But yeah,
yeah,
totally get that. All right, so day 3, though, you guys head over to Animal Kingdom.
mhm,
You said big fan of Expedition Everest, which is kind
yeah,
of, I guess Matterhorn updated. By the way,
yeah. I think it's better than the Matterhorn, don't tell
maybe
Disney,
not
but,
better, but it's a whole lot smoother. You're right. It's probably not better, but it's a lot easier on the back.
oh, I think it's I mean, it's faster, I think it's longer. Well, it was weird because we did do early, like, the extra magic hour, the early hours for Magic Kingdom, and we're kinda like, "Oh, we didn't need to be here this early," so we didn't do the 7:30 Animal Kingdom, we got there probably at 8, but the park was, like, deserted. It was very almost, like, eerie, especially in that park with, the jungle and everything, so we just hopped on that, like, walk on twice, in a row, and then it started to get crowded, but again, DAS was super helpful, so, highlight would probably be, the Pandora one what is it called? Flight of Passage?
Yep. Yep.
That
Mhm.
was cool, although I did think, like, you're sitting there and there's the door, and I thought we were gonna, like, drop, like, I thought we were gonna move, and I was like, "Oh my god," but no, it was just, like, graphics, but it was very cool, like, tech-wise. I enjoyed the safari. Um, I know it's kind of a zoo, but it
It's
was
not
fun.
a
I
zoo. That's
enjoyed
what they used to always say in their commercials. Not a zoo.
No, not a zoo. Okay, I know. I'm trying to tell myself it's okay, but
No,
anyways,
it
I
is.
enjoyed it, and then I wanted to see the Festival of the Lion King, which I'm a theater person. I also enjoyed. My boyfriend was like,
Oh
but
my gosh, I'm not a theater person either, but I love that show. That show
fun.
is so well done. I can't believe it's in a theme park. It's so well done. I love
Yeah,
it.
I mean, the acrobatics was great.
Real, the
It was
jungle monkeys, absolutely. Those things are
yeah,
crazy.
but
Yeah.
I don't know, I think he needed to eat, so he was in a kind of grumpy mood.
Get the man some Yak and Yeti.
Yeah, yeah, he did get something earlier that was really good, I don't remember what, but anyways, yeah, so we were done with that park by, like, 2, um, and I think later that day, I just went to the, Hoka run, and then we just, yeah, we spent most of the day, like, in downtown Orlando after that.
So did this group, like, host their runs at Coronado? So they just ran around the resort, or where do they do
No, so
it?
that was the Run America, those are people who, like, put on marathons,
You
they're,
guys
like,
in town?
race people. So they did 2 shakeout runs in the morning, so at, like, 6 in the morning, they were running around, but then Hoka was sponsored with Fleet Feet or some type of, running store in downtown Orlando, and that was at night. So then we went there, I did the run, and then we just found a, like, really awesome vegan restaurant, in downtown Orlando,
Cool.
so got
That's
out of the
awesome.
bubble.
Cool. Yeah, we have Fleet Feet right around the corner. That's
Oh,
cool.
okay.
Yeah. So it's where my wife always gets my stuff, and I always tell her, "Hey, it's Runner's Warehouse clearance. That's where I get my shoes."
Oh,
I burn through them so fast, but
yeah.
she goes over to the store, that's what she does. So that's where I get a lot of my stuff. Okay, so the next day, Epcot. Now, real quick, because being somebody from California, not getting to World as much, which park do you enjoy more because it's so different? Is it Epcot or is it Animal Kingdom? Because those are so much different than like Disneyland or DCA.
I think I'm gonna say Epcot, just because it seems like there's a little bit more to
Mhm.
do there, a little bit more adult, and like I said, we went through Animal Kingdom so fast,
Yeah.
so, I think Epcot's fun. You know, the Bachelorette thing was there, and that was really fun, and I love what I will say about Florida, people, like, theme up a lot more than what I've seen at Disneyland. Like, everyone's wearing matching shirts or matching outfits and on the ears and everything. I'm like, "Oh, we should have coordinated."
Well, yeah,
Um,
I think 'cause in Florida, like, people are there, like, really for vacation, where I think a
yeah,
lot of Disneyland people are like, "I'm gonna go get dinner." You know what I'm
mm,
saying? Like, because 'cause they're locals, right? It's like, I just got off work and I'm hankering for a burrito at Rancho del Zocalo, which is what I would do every night if I lived there, by
mm.
the way, but it'd be like my Taco Bell.
Well, we need to get
I'd have
you
to do that.
we
Oh,
need to get you some legit Mexican food, Mike. Like, def
well, we have a
next
great I mean, we
time.
go to this place called El Azteca here
I
in
Yeah,
good, but I've heard it's amazing out there, and I gotta check it out, so I will.
yeah.
I
It'll
know.
ruin Azteca, I'm sure.
I'm sure it will. But so okay, so what were some of your favorites over at Epcot though? I mean, were the classics like Spaceship Earth, Living with the Land, or did you guys do Test Track? I mean, what were you
Oh,
into?
yeah. I mean, we did everything, because I had been, like, you know, a few months prior. I got my vegan kringle at the Norway bakery, which was amazing.
Ooh.
Oh, do I get the bell?
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean,
Awesome.
anything from the Kringle Bakery gets a bell for sure.
Yeah. I Yeah, that was a highlight. Definitely wanted to get that again, and then it was, like, the Festival of the Arts festival going on, and so we shared the vegan truffle mushroom risotto with, like, a red wine reduction. That's the best thing I've ever had off a cart. Like, that was really, really good. And then, yeah, Guardians, we went twice. We were able to get what do you call it? The morning one where you
Virtual
have to hit.
queue. Yep.
Yes, the
Virtual
virtual
queue.
queue, and
Which,
then we
by the way,
purchased.
just real quick, breaking news. I mean, this is about 5 days old at this point, but no more virtual queue for Tron. It's old school.
Oh
You
my
just stay in the
god,
line now. I know, starting September 9th. But
gotta go
anyway,
back.
yeah, I know.
Um, yeah, so we did that, and then I purchased the light because it was just so good. Like, it's so fun. Um, and then, yeah, we did. I am a big fan of the Frozen ride, not really to wait 90 minutes for, but with the DAS pass, I just love, like, I like overall, just like speaking about Disney, how they do rides, I enjoy the fact that they don't say, "How can we go faster, higher, scarier?" It's not that. It's how can we be super innovative and surprise people in a way that's going to like really entertain and like, you know, get the adrenaline going without dropping you off like a 200-foot cliff because I
I
don't do
agree.
that. I
I
don't
agree.
do
That's so well said. That's right. You don't have
yeah.
to like don't have to like scare you out of your so you have a heart attack. They can just surprise you.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, so I think it was, like, even with the Remy ride, the trackless ride was super fun, and then, like, later that night, well, we did take a break, we went back to the resort, you know, went to the Dahlia Lounge, changed, and then we went to I think it's called the Tepon Edo, we got it during the fireworks show, so we just, like, snuck out really quick and watched, and then, like, snuck back in for dinner. Again, another amazing plant-based meal. Um, and then we walked to the boardwalk and went to I think that's the day we went to the Julian Piano Bar,
Yeah, jelly roll.
um, Jellyrolls. It
Yeah.
was super yeah, I love it. We used to have one, close to here, and it closed, with the pandemic, but my boyfriend had never been to a Julian Piano Bar, and he was like, "I don't know what's going on," but he loved it, and
I
I
was gonna
loved
say
it.
I was gonna say, 'cause either yeah, I was gonna ask what he thought because I could say, like, either he walked in and he was like, "Oh, no," and walked right back out. Because I mean, either you're gonna like that place or you're gonna really not want to be in there. Because you know,
Mm,
that's not really a place that you're gonna wanna hang out in if you're not into it. Because it's there's a lot of audience participation in there. They're gonna ask you to sing along with everybody or, throw out a request. The environment in there is usually fun. I've been in there a few times. It's a good time.
yeah, I love a Julian Piano Bar.
It's hard to be a flower on the wall in there. It's like you're not gonna have a
Mm,
good time just kinda sitting there. You gotta
yeah.
sing.
Yeah.
What songs did you guys sing, Anna? Do you remember? Was it,
Oh
I'm
gosh.
sure they did Piano Man, right? The guy do Piano Man.
You know, that Benny and the Jet, I don't remember what they had. I do remember is because the following night we went to the Atlantic Dance Hall because
Mhm.
I love to dance. And I was just like blown away by it was like Taylor Swift and then it was like Anaconda and like the variety of the songs that they played in there. Um, and you didn't even realize you were at Disney, but it was just like a bunch of random adults just having a good time and just yelling, "Shake it off."
Well,
So
see, and that's a miracle because that's like going back into the '90s, basically, because for so
it is, yeah.
long, on the boardwalk, Jellyrolls and Atlantic Dance Hall were never open. They especially Atlantic Dance Hall, they kept that
Mm,
place basically for, like, corporate events and media stuff, and the fact that you could go in there and have a night of dancing and the night before go to Jellyrolls and do the dueling pianos, that makes me super happy. Actually, the show we did Friday was Pam and I talking about all the things to do around the Crescent Lake area, Boardwalk, Beach Club, Yacht Club, Swan and Dolphin. And you can make a night out of that. I mean, there's live
yeah.
entertainment in the boardwalk, Surrey bikes, snacks, pizza, ice cream, all kinds of stuff. And man, that just sounds like it was a great time. And
Yeah.
got to see two of those venues that a lot of folks never get to experience. You just see them like on a video or something. That's cool.
I mean, if I splurged, I would definitely consider staying in that area next time, just because those were, like, 2 of my favorite, nights.
That's super cool. Now, okay, so this was like before this all happened before you went down to spectate the marathon, right? And then eventually, like this was where the marathon. The next day was when you went downtown to see the runners.
Yep, yep. So that was a no park day. It didn't start that early. It started at 10. So, I got up, did my run around Coronado, went to go cheer on the runners. That wrapped up. And then we spent like an hour trying to go to this vegan bakery that was 20 minutes away, but the roads were closed up. It's called Valhalla. Shout out to Valhalla. And finally got there, took a nap on the Uber ride back, and then I think we had reservations at, Cape May, again, back to the boardwalk, which was amazing. Again, with the plant-based options, it wasn't just like, "Here's a salad, have fun," you know? Um, it was
That's
so
good to
good.
hear though, because see, I don't know because I eat anything that's thrown in front of me. I'm just I never think, but I'm glad to hear that because you're the expert here, and there are so many folks in our audience that are vegan, and it's
Mhm.
great to have you on to give folks encouragement and education and stuff like that. So overall, Walt Disney World, it sounds like you were happy with the options that you were presented, and when you got something that it met your expectations.
Oh, yeah, and honestly, it exceeded because I was worried we were gonna get a lot of, like, Beyond or Impossible or just, like, mock meats, and I work for a competitor, so I don't eat those things, but, it was my boyfriend got a lobster roll made with hearts of palm, or we talked to the chef at Sebastian's on our last night because they had this amazing vegan crab cake, and we're like, "What seasoning did you put on that?" So it was a lot of variety, a lot of real whole foods, it didn't feel like you were eating, like, junk food the entire time. You could, but there are also a lot of like really healthy options that were super flavor forward. So, like my perfect Disney trip honestly would be go to Coronado or a nice hotel, work during the day because I do love my job, and then like go out at night, go have a nice dinner. Um, and that would be fantastic.
That sounds like a plan because I could do that.
Yeah.
I can work from
Hmm.
anywhere. I have a laptop.
Right?
But
Yeah.
I got to stay home because of my daughter's cheerleading and stuff. I got to be a dad. But that sounds like a great plan someday because she will be off
Yeah.
of college here in 2 years. We're going to be
There you
empty
go.
nesters very soon. So
What
you piqued my interest.
There you go. While we're kind of on dining, like we skipped over the first night we got in, we went to Sanaa because your podcast, another podcast, everybody talks
I
about
talked about that.
the
Yep.
bread service at Sanaa, right? So I was like, just get me to the bread service. Um the typical bread is not vegan, but they do have and I was like, "Oh, no," but they have, like, an allergen-friendly one, so it's vegan, it's gluten-free, it's soy-free, it's all the frees, it's not as good. The dips were great, but just if anybody has a food allergy that's, like, ready for bread service at Sanaa, you're gonna get some type of, like, chickpea flatbread. It was fine,
Oh,
definitely fine, but it's not like that really warm and fluffy
see, that's a
naan that
shame 'cause that bread is one of the top 5 things I eat at Walt
That's
Disney
what I've
World.
heard.
I don't know if it's again though, I'm a simple Midwesterner, and I'll admit that. I don't know if it's like if I enjoy the dips more than
The
I
dips are
enjoy the
great.
bread, because like I drown the bread in all the because I think it's 9 dips. I get all of them.
Yeah.
I get the whole spread. And
Yeah.
I go from because they present them from like the most mild to the most hot or
Yeah.
spicy. And so I just go right down the thing like a xylophone and dip, as I go. And I drown the bread. So I never eat it plain. So I don't even know really what the bread tastes like because I'm just like I'm enjoying all the
Yeah.
dips. So who knows? I mean, I could probably use whatever bread. I could probably use saltine crackers. It doesn't matter. I'm
Yeah.
there.
I mean,
But everybody says it's
we
great.
saved the dips for the entrees too, which were fabulous. So just not a complaint, just a note.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, it's good to know. And you know what too? Everybody should give Sanaa a shot though, because the environment's pretty cool over Kidani.
We
I
saw a
like the
giraffe
yeah. Exactly. I mean, you say that in passing. I saw a giraffe.
at like 9 o'clock at night. Like we just saw this like shadow moving, and I was like, "Wow, okay."
That's why it's so glad I saw a giraffe. No big deal. I mean, if you said that back home, like I'm in St. Louis, to dinner, I saw a giraffe. No, that's cool. Okay, so as we kind of wrap, you guys also went to Universal Studios for half a day or so. So what were some
Yes.
highlights over there, kind of opposing what you did over at Walt Disney World?
Yeah, so the point was, so I'm really into like Jurassic Park and stuff, and I wanted to ride the Velocicoaster. That's the only reason we went to Universal, and the Velocicoaster was down. And
Oh,
but it was one of those like you don't know if it's going to be down for the full day or not. So I just kept like looking over and looking over. Is it up yet? Is it up yet? And it never was up. This was on the day that we left, so we had like 4 hours. And we had to go, and it was a super crowded day. And I was like, "Oh, it's Monday. It's like a commuter park." I want no, it was bad. The traffic or the crowds were bad, and the DAS system didn't work as well as it does in Disney. But, we saw Harry Potter World. We went on Hagrid's twice, that was super fun. Highly recommend. Like, get in that line, go on that ride. Again, very innovative. It's not necessarily like, let's go upside down, but I won't have any spoilers on here. But it was a super fun and innovative ride.
so you
Uh,
obviously don't have any problem with motion sickness, because that one I've heard gives people fits. Like,
Hagrid?
yeah,
Really?
I
The
think so.
roller coaster one?
Oh no, I'm thinking of the other Harry Potter ride, the one
Oh,
on the
the dive.
screen
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in
That
in,
one.
in the Potter ride that
Yes,
has
we
the
did do
screen,
that
the
one. We
where
have
you're on
that one.
the broom.
Yeah, we have that one here too. Um, like by the end of it, I'm like, I'm done with this one, but not too bad. What I will say though, I swear I'm getting old, is that in California Screamin' or Incredicoaster now in California Adventure. I used to love that ride, and the last few times I've been on it, I'm like, I feel ill after, and I'm like, oh God,
I know.
I'm
I
getting
feel your pain. Like I can do things once. Like I used to be able to like
yeah.
do it. If can I stay on? I'm like, no, I'm good. Like that's I can do things once. Like I can do Tower of Terror one time. Like that's good. I can do Expedition Everest one time. Like you said, you did
Oh,
multiple. I can't do. I still can't do though. Like I said, Guardians. Guardians just I've
no,
done
that's a
twice in a while.
shame.
Sometimes mess me up, man. It is too
I've
much.
heard.
It is like a spin cycle, man. It is too much. But you mentioned Sebastian's too. You thought that was a good meal over there at Caribbean Beach, right?
That was yeah, it was on my list of, like, go-to vegan options, and I was like, I don't know." We ended up timing it perfectly with the Epcot fireworks, so you got to see a little of that, and, man, that I would go there in a heartbeat. It was amazing. Again, I can only speak for the plant-based options, but it was nicer than I thought. I thought it might be like this, like, kind of, like, hokey, like, down by the bayou thing, but no, um, it was a little classier than I thought, and, we got to talk to the chef, and I just remember it's just, like, platters of food, and the bread pudding. Again, I could care less about bread pudding, don't care. I went to a vegan bakery outside of the park to get my fix, but I was like, "Oh, I wanna eat all of this," even though I had sweets at home. Um, yeah, I couldn't recommend that place enough.
That's a cool little place. It's not very big either. It's
No.
I thought it would be bigger than it was the both times I've eaten there. Like I went there the first time, I was like, oh, this is kind of small. And then I went back and I don't know why I thought it was gonna be bigger the second time, but it was like, oh, it's still small.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great little place. And you can, I mean, even with its smaller size, you can typically get an ADR there.
Yeah, that I mean, we
forget about it. People don't
yeah, we
realize.
decided that day to we're like, "Oh, well, let's open." Like, yeah, it was later. It was probably like 8:45, 9, but, we ate late anyways, so, it was perfect. I think it's a fun little hidden gem.
Yeah, and easily accessible because, it's on the Skyliner. So if you're at Art of Animation, Pop Century, Riviera, if you're anywhere in the Crescent Lake area, hop on the Skyliner, phoom,
Mhm.
right there. It's
Yeah.
easy to get
Oh,
to.
and then after Sebastian's, we went because we were, full. So we walked to the Riviera, I think, and played chess, like, that big outdoor chess
Mhm.
thing until like 11:30 at night. Um, and that was a great way to like end the night.
That is a cool way. And we got, I mean, you got bocce over there too, which I don't know how to play bocce very well, but it always looks intriguing.
Couldn't
Never
tell
play,
you.
and that's a big thing up in the. Well, you lived in Boston. You probably know how to play bocce, I would guess. You had probably taught you how to do that, right? No.
I I went to a theater school. We
No.
don't we
I
don't
figured like if
don't do
you're in
sports.
Boston, they indoctrinate you with like I guess they do like lawn bowling and bocce and all those northeastern things.
Not at Emerson.
No? Oh, okay. Well, they don't teach us that here either. So there you go. We got that in common. All right. I want to learn how to play bocce. Somebody teach me. I'll play at the Riviera. Well, it looks like the kids. I mean, typically it's like usually 5 and 6-year-old kids just firing the balls, and that kind of looks like fun. So I don't know. They're probably not playing by the rules either. So as we kind of wrap up the trip, though, it sounds like you had a good time and got to combine
Yeah.
two passions, Disney and running. Any last stories from the trip, or any tips that you would have to pass along to our guests? Something you learned from the trip that would help folks have a better trip next time they head down. I
Oh
think
gosh. Yeah. I'm trying to think of any fun little stories that happen. I would say tip wise, well, I think you can do multiple parks on multiple days, if you play it right. I know the entire system has changed with the thing that's not a fast pass that now is a fast pass.
yeah,
Um, but I do think, like, if you wanna cram it in, I don't think you'd be stressed or not, but then again, I'm a go, go, go person. I averaged 18 miles every day, including the run and then walking around the parks and stuff, so, um, I say just, like, make the most of it and, really enjoy the dining and all like, do your research, find all the little, like, gems and goodies on there because it's worth it. And it was really nice to be in the bubble. I'll give it that.
that
It was
is. That's
so
why we
nice.
go to Walt Disney World, right? I mean, you get
Yeah.
to use the transportation, get on the Skyliner, ride a monorail, ride a boat, go over and, even explore the Swan and the Dolphin, go to the fountain over there and have a peanut butter and jelly shake, or just get out there, play putt putt. There's so much to do. Like you went to Atlantic Dance Hall. Like I haven't been there. I went there for a media event, gosh, back probably 5 years ago, but I have not been in there like for real, probably
Mhm.
in 15
Oh,
years.
bring a poncho. I thought I had a poncho and I didn't, and I was like, "Oh, it's fine." And then it was like, "Oh, it might rain, it might rain." And then, of course, the night before, I'm like, "It's gonna rain." We were going to, Universal the no, what's the Hollywood one?
Oh,
The
studios. Yeah.
yes. And I am so glad I bought my $15 poncho, but I could have bought, like, a $2 one off Amazon. So,
Well, you
poncho.
know what happens is if I buy a poncho, that will stop the rain because I'll buy it preemptively. I was like, "Oh, it's for
Yeah.
sure gonna rain." I'll buy the $15 poncho, and that means it will not rain for the next 3 days. I just because I've wasted my money. Like, until I go home, Central Florida, you're good. Not gonna rain because I bought my poncho. So, you're welcome. That's how it
Excellent.
works. That's happened to me more than once down there. I'm like, "Oh, for sure it's gonna rain." Nope, 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 didn't rain. So but that's how my life usually ends up going. Well, Tanya, thanks for coming on the show. What a great trip. And we're both marathoners. So we run to eat and eat to run. And
Yep.
you got to be with your people over at Coronado. That makes me super
Mhm.
happy. So I'm glad you had a great trip.
Thanks.
All right. Well, don't forget our show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Don't forget, we'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure for no additional cost to you, whether it's to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney. Just swing by the website today over at magicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys make all these shows possible. You can support us as well, just $5 a month, and you'll get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. We'd love to have you this week. Coming over, patreon.com/be our guest podcast. Give me a follow on the social media this week. We'd love to talk to you over on Twitter, Instagram, or Threads. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike, and we have over 1,150 of our listeners hanging out 24/7, 365, talking Disney and just talking life in general. We have a fantasy football league going on over there. It's the Be Our Guest Podcast Clubhouse. We have just people talking about life, Halloween decorations. When do we start decorating? It's just a bunch of people hanging out. It's like our Cheers. It's like our little corner pub. Coming over to the Clubhouse, beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. We'll see you over there later today. Also, we'll have the live call-in show this Sunday night. Scott joins me, and we'll take your calls. This is where you can come on the show immediately, be a part of the show, talk about what's on your mind in the Disney universe. So give us a call Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. We are in 5 places: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Pick your place. We'll be there Sunday night, so we'll be looking for you as well. All right, so for Tanya out in California, I'm Mike here in Missouri. Until we talk again on Wednesday, you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. All right, that was awesome. Thanks so much.
Of course, you got that down pat.
Oh, I can say that in my sleep. I've only said it about 2,500 times, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, should I record that? No, that'd be too fake.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was recorded.
I'm just blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Well, that's impressive.
It's so bad. All right. Well, hey, you have a good night. I'll have this out for you
You
on
too.
Monday. I appreciate the time.
I appreciate it. Back to work. All right. Bye.
Same here. All right. See you later. All right, guys. Oh, let's see. Special Olympics for Hamilton County softball, the Rocking Rookies. They're going to be back-to-back champions. So good luck to Mr. Fulton out in Indiana. Go Fulton. Good luck. We're behind you, and go get that medal. Gold. We're looking for gold. Just like this color of my Mizzou hat. Go get it, Fulton. We're behind you. See you, bud. I got to go edit the show. Talk to you later. See you guys.